we're live.
We are. He's back. So I have the dog in the background over here.
It's a live fox.
Yeah, he's just doing his thing over there. Welcome to the Fox Den, everybody. Tonight we have a great show. Okay, we have Megan Edge with us, and we are actually going to be giving away a set. It has her book. It has the book. It has a journal. It has cards. It even has a pen.
Yeah.
All right, it's a beautifully made, beautifully done set. Gorgeous cards, gorgeous, and when I say absolutely gorgeous,
Yeah.
cards. And puppy,
Don't worry about it, G.
he's scratching. I'm gonna throw something at him, but we will explain in a while how you can get these cards. But you have to be watching the show because somewhere between now and the half point, we're going to tell you what you need to do to win the deck. But at the end of the show is when the winner will be announced.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's,
And if you're not in the chat to say, yes, I'm here, thank you very much, or whatever the heck it is you want to say, then we'll just go on to the next person who's the next closest to the number we've chosen. And we've already chosen what we're doing. And
this is it right here.
That's the response to the question that you're going to have to answer. So pay attention. It's a really difficult question.
So anyway, without further ado, let me show Megan's video and get her on here because you're going to love her.
Yes. She's Canadian.
This week in the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, we welcome Megan Edge. Megan was born in Vancouver, BC in the spring of 1969 into a family of intellectual nature lovers. Her early formative years were spent between Vancouver and Main Island, BC, where her grandparents bought the family cottage in the 1940s. Her childhood was spent in discussions of current events and long walks in the woods and on the beach, learning to identify and collect wild foods. Her father was a journalist and a newspaper publisher, and her mother was a humanitarian and an artist. From both her parents and her upbringing, Megan has been gifted with a sharp wit and the ability to see the bigger picture and a strong connection with her intuition and the natural world. Megan Edge is a master healer, intuitive educator, counselor, and the author of The Healing Heart's Journey, Healing Heart's Oracle Cards and Guidebook, and The Healing Heart's Journal. Many of the beautiful heart photos in the Oracle Cards and Guidebook were taken on the beaches in the forests of Main Island, where Megan spends much of her time. All of the photos in the Healing Hearts Oracle cards come from Victoria, California, and Kauai. Megan offers mind, body, and soul healing through energy healing, intuitive counseling, and bodywork. In her private practice, Megan holds space for her personal healing, empowering the individual to access their own healing powers. As a certified Reiki Master, Angel Therapy Practitioner, and energy medicine healer, she believes that each of us has the potential to unlock our healing abilities, both for ourselves and for others. Megan offers her clients and students the tools and techniques to heal in the moment and to maintain their healing as they move forward on their journey. We welcome you, Megan, and everyone to the Fox Den.
Okay, we are back. Chuck Sanders sending a heart. How you doing there, Chuckster? And hey, JoJo, what's happening? Please share the show, but keep on watching because, again, all right, let me just show you this beautiful package here. Okay, just by watching tonight, you can win this whole deck free. I'm going to do an unveiling and an unpackaging of this beautiful box that you will get too, because it's this gorgeous box. So here's your cover, all right?
And It's not flimsy either, guys.
No, not at all. All right, and then you open it up and you see the book. All right, it's got a nice little handy dandy lifter here, so you can take out the book. All right, so I got Megan's journey, her heart journey, her story is in there, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. And then even the journal. The journal, it's not just a blank book, everybody, okay? It's got a little blurb in the front on how to use this book. I've actually already got a journal entry in this book. But at the bottoms of the pages, I trust myself and my impressions. Okay. Every page has a little blurb on the bottom. Okay. It's just amazing. So you can use this journal for anything. You can pull cards. You can write about the card that you pulled, which is what I did. Because if you guys know that I've been dealing with my mom being sick, falling, and 2 heart attacks and broken leg and hospitalization and everything else. And I pull Mother Heart card. And this was just the most amazing card to pull. So it's quite, as Megan puts it. How did you put it, Megan?
Am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Yes,
You can't make this shit up.
there
No,
you
you
go.
can't.
When you're working with oracle cards, or you're working with mediumship, or you're working with any, you can't make it up.
You just can't. And then in the rest of the box now, you get a bookmark, which I think I actually have in my book. No, I don't. All right, so you even get a bookmark. Right, beautiful bookmark. A pen, so you don't even have to look for a pen. And then there's your card box. All right, but I have my cards out. So this is what you get in this beautifully packaged deal here. And someone that's watching tonight's show is going to get this for free.
Exactly. All we're gonna do is when you're been chosen, you'll private message one of us, and we'll get the address, and then we'll have it shipped out to you.
Good luck, everyone.
Right? Right? Yeah. So, Megan,
Yes.
as a child, I mean, what a way to grow up. You know, so you guys would do what? You wake up in the morning and you're going hiking in the woods.
Yes. Yeah. Or down on the beach or out in the fields. And we're looking for things that are edible in the forest, in the fields, on the beach. We're looking for berries or mushrooms or clams and oysters. And this is how I grew up. Wherever we would go, and if there was some wilderness, we would go hunting in the wilderness for whatever we could find that would be edible and delicious. And we would also do this in urban settings as well. So
Awesome.
there's wild forest foraging or wild landscape foraging, and then there's also urban foraging. And I remember one day I came home from school with this beautiful morel, which is a type of spring mushroom, highly, highly prized spring mushroom. It was about that big, which is enormous for that kind of mushroom, in downtown Montreal. And I arrived home carrying this mushroom, and my father was over the moon. It was one of his proudest moments that his daughter came home on a Friday afternoon in Montreal with this amazing wild mushroom.
Oh my God, I love it. That's amazing. That is so amazing. So now, growing up this way too. Now, so you've eaten good. Did you ever get fiddleheads?
Absolutely. Oh, I love fiddleheads. Yeah.
My brother turned me on to fiddleheads. Oh
They're
my
so
God.
fun. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I looked at, and you sent me a lot of pictures. I'm going to show just a few of these right now. Speaking of mushrooms. So what type of mushroom is this that grows on the tree that looks like the waves there?
Oh, so that's called a turkey tail, and it's a medicinal mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not eaten, but it's used as a tonic or used as a dried and powdered as a tea, or it can be used in a salve. Like you can create an oil from it and use it topically. Really, really good for modulating the immune system. Excellent for sorry, my dog is
What they do.
Dog would be like, I want attention, Mom.
I want attention, Mom. Excellent as a prebiotic. So what I do with this is I dry it, then I grind it up in my coffee grinder, and I sprinkle it into my coffee grounds when I'm making my morning coffee.
Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
So what are the other mushrooms that are shown here?
Well, so in the picture down at the bottom where you see me grinning like a Cheshire cat in front of this table full of mushrooms, those are all chanterelles, and there are probably some winter chanterelles in there. And then there's also going to be some hedgehog mushrooms. And those were all collected on Main Island, which is on the west coast of Canada, for those who don't know. And it's in between Vancouver Island, which is a great big island off of the mainland, and then the mainland. It's where I grew up. It's where that family cottage was that you alluded to in your introduction.
Very cool.
Yes. And then we've also got more chanterelles, and then you've got some winter chanterelles. I'll let her out. Winter chanterelles in lichen. That's old man's beard in there.
Oh, okay. I get it. So that's amazing. And then we have like, see the little tinctures here. So she can make these tinctures, and you sell these little.
Yeah, so what you're seeing in that bottom middle picture, those are nature essences. And what that is pure, usually spring water, if I can find it, and this was on Main Island again. The water came from our spring. And in it are put different kinds of plants or berries or shells, things that my students, this is one of my workshops, one of my retreats, things that my students have found as we've gone walking through the forest and on the beaches, that they have felt an affinity to. They felt a connection to it. Like we were talking before we came live about our animals, the foxes and the owls and those sorts of things. So they put that in the water, and then we put it out in the sunshine, and the water, it is infused then with the energy.
We don't put animals and foxes in the water in jars, okay?
No, we're not.
Just being safe,
Yeah. Just to clarify.
Just in case.
And then from there, we strain out the plant material and we compost it. And then we use that water as the basis for the nature essence, which is turned into a spray like this one here. I can show.
Nice.
Let me get this. Okay,
so it's in a spray bottle. This is called manifesting mist. And the idea is that when you spray it, you connect to your energy around manifesting, so that it's easier for you to create the things that you want or bring the things that you want into your life. And so my students each make their own, depending on where they are in that moment, what they need support with or help with, or what they want to amplify. And then they mix them. We mix them with essential oils. And then you end up with this beautiful spray. So that's what's happening in that bottom middle photograph.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Because but in the tinctures, that's like a waxy type product, is it not?
Oh, well, what you're looking at above where those jars, those are salves. And what that is an usnea salve. So usnea is that same lichen that was in the previous picture with the winter chanterelles. It's also known as old man's beard. And it's very medicinal. It's highly prized for lung issues, chest issues, and grieving.
I need that.
Yes, you do. In fact, a friend of mine, and she's a former student and also a dear friend of mine, her mother has been having a lot of issues with chest and lung, and nothing's been working. So she took my usnea tincture, because I also make that into a tincture, and has started working with it. And she said the first day after she started working with it, she started to cough, and all this stuff that had been sitting in her chest, and this grief that she was holding on to that was showing up in that physical way started to come up, and she was able to get it out of her body. And for the first time in 3 months, start to feel like she had energy and that she could breathe again. Really fabulous.
I would like to be able to breathe again. I'm telling you.
Well, I can send you some down.
Yeah, I know. Do you ship to the States
I ship worldwide.
Worldwide. Beautiful.
Worldwide, wherever you are.
Awesome. Yeah, because I definitely
down.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't know what these things were. And then this one here, I was like, okay, so I have land, sea, and water and air. You know what I mean? Water,
Yeah. So
air.
up in the corner, the green, that's horsetail.
Horsetail.
Horsetail is it's very high in silica. So we use horsetail to help strengthen our nails and our hair, among other things, in our skin. So it's used topically. It can be used also as an internal, like as with a tincture. Excellent for your cuticles and sort of hand health. A very ancient plant, ancient Carboniferous. We're talking hundreds of millions of years ago. And at the time, in the Carboniferous period, these things would be enormous. They were the size of trees now. So what we have now are much smaller versions of them, but still very, very medicinal. And then the picture next to that is a particular kind of seaweed called bladderwort. And bladderwort has been studied for, oh my gosh, at least the last few decades. It is one of the most potent anti-tumoral and anti-cancer seaweeds.
Wow.
Really good for your health. Also excellent for your skin. It's a natural source of a lot of the nourishment and nutrients that we have in our skin that we lose from our skin as we tend to get older, or we're exposed to oxidation and things like that. It helps to bring back that plumpness in our skin. So I create an oil from this and a salve from this. I also just throw it in my bath. It's really high in iodine. So it's excellent for anyone who's got thyroid issues. In fact, I've heard stories of people who've gone off, and please don't do this without somebody coaching you along the way. But I know of people who have taken themselves off of their thyroid medication after they started introducing seaweeds into their diet and into
Really?
their
Yeah, I
it's so
take
high in iodine.
thyroid medication. I think you do too, right, Mama?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff here that people will eat or consume in some form or another. For those people who have issues with their stomach, because depending on what I eat will depend on what my stomach decides to do in the next 20 minutes.
Right.
So is there anything that in the mushrooms that you have that would help with the issues of the stomach?
Well, one of the one that we were just talking about, the turkey tail, it has natural prebiotics in it.
Okay.
So what often with our gut, when we're having issues with our gut, it has to do with what's happening in the microbiome of our digestive system. And we may not have enough prebiotic and probiotic, especially if we've been on antibiotics, because the antibiotic is against biology, right? So it takes care of the things that are harming us, but it also takes care of all the beneficial bacteria as well in our digestive system. So we need to be able to, we want to replace that. And there's lots of different ways that we can pull in prebiotics and probiotics. A lot of foods, like especially foods that are fermented, for example, like sauerkraut, if we eat that, or kombucha, if we drink kombucha, that helps to balance the microbiome. But with the mushrooms, it's the turkey tail. And the way that I was describing, I powder it up and I put it directly into my coffee when I grind up my coffee beans in the morning. The heat, when I pour the hot water over the coffee grounds, releases the chemical components that are in the turkey tail that then help my body be able to.
Does it have a flavor?
It doesn't really have a flavor. It's not used as a mushroom that we would eat in the way that we would eat a chanterelle or a white mushroom or shiitake.
But I'm just saying, if it made it a different taste of the coffee or anything, or
no
taste.
It doesn't.
So see that? So, better than, anything that you can buy over the counter because it's all natural.
Yeah. Like I have shaga mushroom. A friend introduced me to them and it's amazing. And that was my biggest thing was, again, my stomach with issues with stomach and taste. And it just added a nice hint of woody taste to it. I started it with coffee. Now I can drink coffee, but, I still make myself like a hot cup of the shaga tea. And that's like amazing.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's one of the powerhouse mushrooms. All mushrooms that are edible or medicinal have lots of properties that are really good for us. And cultures that eat lots of mushrooms tend to have less things like dementia and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. They tend to age slower. They're healthier because of the symbiotic relationship that we have with these amazing fungus. Not all of them taste good though.
Bob would be happy to know that I brought up before the show too the papinkies in the yard, and you said that they were also a honey mushroom. But
that's right. Yeah.
I really don't know about mushrooms, but besides like, portobello and the mushrooms I get in the store to put in my food, know. But other than that, he loves those things and they grow and I always grew up with, don't touch that mushroom because it's poisonous. So
yeah. And actually it's interesting. If you go back to one of the photographs that you had there, you put together had the red mushroom, the Amanita muscaria, which there it is up in the corner there. That's the mushroom that most people are familiar with as a cultural icon of mushrooms, and it's often described as a toadstool. And you see it in fairy tales, and it has this very long history. I love it. I want that car. And in our culture, in North American culture, we are like fungiphobes. Most people are terrified of mushrooms, even though many people have come from a European background where mushrooms are you grow up with mushrooms from a very early age. Everybody knows about mushrooms, including the Amanita muscaria. And Amanita is now being studied in North American, more progressive medicine for its medicinal properties, for its healing properties, and for its psychotropic properties, in the same way that psilocybin is being studied now to help with things like anxiety, PTSD, major trauma.
So, instead of taking a synthetic, there's some synthoids, from big pharma. I mean, I've always said too that nature has the cure.
Oh,
everything.
shoot, yes.
You know, and the ocean, where being so untapped, probably has the cure for cancer. When you had said that,
It
and
sure
I've said that
does.
for years. I've said that for years. And when you said that about that seaweed, I was like, you know, there it is. You know, people just
Mhm.
really need to study this more and stop destroying it. You know,
Yes, and definitely stop
plan it out.
destroying it. Yeah. And other countries do, you know, a lot of Asian countries, there's loads of studies. You go into PubMed, you can find just hundreds and hundreds of studies looking at the effectiveness of food as medicine. All of these different things that we are surrounded with, and it can be overwhelming at first for somebody who is used to I don't know, packaged foods, or, you know, pre-made
Mhm.
things, or ready-made things, or have grown up being told, don't touch the
Don't touch
mushrooms.
it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, you know, you're going to die a horrible death. There are mushrooms that you do
Mushrooms and
not want to
berries.
eat.
Don't touch the
Yeah.
berries.
That's right. I mean, you need to know what you're doing. You need to work with someone like myself who's really familiar with mushrooms and learn
Mhm.
which ones are edible and which ones are not edible. You don't want to be foolish about it. Just because it's natural doesn't mean that it's not potentially harmful. You know, you
Yeah.
need to know what you're doing.
Exactly. But even the harmful things in nature have a purpose, you know. But if you took that one harmful thing and you mixed it with, say, 3 other things, that could be the cure for cancer. You know what I mean? It's
Yes,
like there is a
absolutely.
reason for these things.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
doubt.
There is 100%. And what I believe, and I know this to be true, your best medicine is in the environment in which you live.
Yep.
It's it's in your neighborhood. It's
In your
in
backyard.
whatever is around you. It's in your backyard, because you do have a symbiotic relationship with the biology that's around you. So
Yeah.
that maple tree
Yeah.
in your backyard, it knows who you are. And I know that may sound a bit woo-hooey, but, you know, whatever, let's go woo-hoo. It does. It knows who you are, and it responds to you. And we have ways of monitoring it. Like, we have ways of making that observable. So the grass you walk on, you know, the flowers you're growing, the plants in your house, it's not like go eat everything. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is you have a relationship, whether you're aware of it or not,
Yeah.
I have a picture
that
of
are
someone
around you.
picking grass out of the yard. Can I eat this?
Yeah.
Like, send Megan a picture. Can I eat that?
Mhm. I get that. People
Seriously?
send me that.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
absolutely.
I bet
Yep.
you do. So now back to this picture, though. So we got you know, our horsetail and our beautiful cancer,
Mhm.
Seaweed.
cancer
That seaweed, so it's known as bladderwort. That's one of the common names for it. It's the fruiting body of that seaweed is shaped like a heart, and one of the heart cards in the Healing Hearts deck is a huge boulder, about 4 feet wide, shaped like a heart, covered in bladderwrack that are
Wow.
all heart shaped.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I'll try
I'll-
to find that card. But now,
Fine.
isn't
Yeah.
that a cherry blossom?
It is a cherry blossom. Yeah.
And
In Asian cosmetics, cherry blossom is a major ingredient for helping with skin health, fine lines and wrinkles, just collagen production. It's used in all kinds of creams, lotions, face care products, body products. So what I've started to do, I've created a line of flower infused oils for the different properties that flower petals have. And I have one that is this beautiful cherry blossom infused oil, and it has this wonderful feel to it. And when it goes on your skin, it just feels so amazing. And also, those are edible. Those petals are edible. You can add them to your salad if you want.
oh my God,
Yeah.
my grandmother used to. Did you put that up?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going. Where did this come from?
Sneaky.
But my grandma used to go out and she's an old Italian lady, you know, and
Yeah.
pick things out of the yard, out of her garden and whatever, and make the salad. And it was always dandelions and everything else. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to eat dandelions. And she's like, come on, this is good.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Dandelions. Oh my gosh. I could go on for hours about dandelions. They're amazing. They have so many incredible properties.
And it's
Every
funny
bit of the
how
plant is edible.
it's funny how different languages have different names for things. Like dandelion, I think it's a nice name. Okay,
Mhm.
but in the French culture, it's called pissenlit, which is pea in a bed. It's like, why couldn't you have come up with a better name for it? But I understand the relation. So yeah. So
Yeah.
So while you're foraging and stuff, though, this is how the inspirations for the hearts come up, because you can see hearts in nature.
Yes. Well, here's one in particular. So this is called Heart Knot, and that's the lichen I was talking about. This is old man's beard, and you can see the little
Oh.
heart shape in the center of it.
yep.
And I found this piece. It was just lying on the beach, just like that, with that little heart in the center of it.
So cool.
And then this is the one with the
Oh,
bladder
there it
wart.
is. Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
and
'cause
each
that
of
is
these,
trying to
these are
look
little heart-shaped bladders. They sort of float when the tide comes in, and
wow.
that's about 4 feet wide. So it's this huge boulder. You could only see it when the tide is
So
out.
what does the back of that card say?
Primordial heart
Mhm.
says primordial life, primordial love. Everything returns to source. Take whatever hurts your heart holds and give them to Earth's waters. Your wounds will heal.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I
Yeah.
love it. These cards are amazing. They are absolutely
Yes.
gorgeous. The
Thank you.
sentiments, the writings on the backs, amazing. I
I
mean,
had
just truly inspired.
I was posting a card a night.
Home is where
At
the
the end
heart
of
is.
the day, I would draw a card. And I actually had somebody who messaged me going, "That painting is gorgeous." Like, no, it's not my painting, it's her cards. But they're pictures,
Yeah.
and yes, I agree that they are gorgeous.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Pictures from nature. All right,
Yep.
I'm like way behind on the comments here. If anybody has a question about anything that you've ever seen in nature, if you can eat it or not, or what you can forage for safely, or where you would be able to start, please feel free to ask Megan.
Mary Jane says we make dandelion and pine needle tea.
Which
Cool.
part of the dandelion are you using, Mary Jane? I'm curious.
Hmm.
She will answer.
Interesting. Okay, so while we're waiting for Mary Jane to answer that, I'm going to do this, people.
Yep.
Okay, this is how you win this deck. All right, now I want you to pick a number from 1 to 50. The one who is closest will win this deck. So you got the deck, the Heart's Journey book, the Heart's Journey journal, the pen, everything, the beautiful box set. All right, you can win that. Just pick a number 1 to 50, put it in the chat room, whoever's closest. And if 2 people pick the number, we will have a little face off.
Yeah. And you have to be close without going over.
Yeah, and the face-off would be a close without going over, and we'll have a lesser version, like maybe 1 to 20, okay, if that does happen. So that is how you win this deck. Pick a number 1 to 50, put your comment in there, but you
I'll
must,
be writing them down.
yeah, you must be at the end of the show here still watching in order to get it. And believe me, you want it.
Yes. Oh God, yes. If you've been following me, my Facebook shows on posts on the different cards, and I have to say thank you very much for commenting on each card. It's like, yes, got
Yeah.
it.
And
Oh,
the answer,
thank you so much for posting them.
yeah, the answer is right here already. Okay, so
Yeah,
it's been
it's already the answer's been already been baked out. You can mind read something into that and go for it. But yeah, so far we've had 5 guesses already.
If we don't win, how do we get them? That's a good question. That is a very good question. So this is the answer. Okay. Let me see if I can get back over here. So we have meganedge.ca. Okay, so you can go here. Now, can they go to Amazon?
They can also go to Amazon. They can, but if they go through me, then I can sign the book for them if they would like me to.
Yep.
And put something in for you, make it personal. Yeah.
Look, and I got a beautiful card. Right, the card. This is one of the pictures from the book. Right, has a little explanation here too. What the of what the card is. A nice little note. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's just like it's it's like getting a gift from an old friend.
Thank you.
Yes, Carmen. They're considered oracle cards.
Yeah. And then she has beyondthegardengate.ca website as well.
Yeah, beyondthegardengate.ca is the foraging, nature as medicine, the mushrooms, all that, all of those wonderful things. And then meganedge.ca is the healing work that I do, including the Heart's Journey.
Wow, they're beautiful. Oh yeah, Mary Jane, you gotta add these to your thing. Yeah, but whenever I pulled that card about my mom, I was just like, and like you said, you can't do shit up. You just can't. These cards, no matter what, when we pull cards for people, and we always say, well, we may not be like, the psychic who's seeing all your dead people and blah, 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 blah. However, the cards don't lie.
No.
Right? The cards are always spot on. Our cards always coincide. They are always spot on.
Yeah.
How that happens? Okay.
Well, and what I say to people when I'm teaching them how to work with oracle cards, if you pull a card and you really cannot find any resonance for yourself, who's the first person that comes into your mind?
Right.
Because it may be that it's your job to give that message to them. You're the conduit for them.
That's right.
I'm going to have to just stop for one moment because that wonderful little doggie of mine is needing to go outside, and I just need to get my husband to come down the stairs and let her outside.
Leslie,
all right, I'll put you.
Leslie in the chat room. She's asking for someone to be okay in school. We're not drawing cards this evening, darling, but keep an eye on our YouTube channel. And we always end up having a show. We're trying to do it once a month where we can do drawings on cards. Hey, Doris.
Hey, Doris. Doris, we are. Yeah, I saw your new decks. You sent me the pictures, Carmen. Those are awesome. She got 2 new decks. We are giving away a deck today. All right. This is the deck, and the deck, the book, the journal.
The pen, the bookmarks, the whole thing. It's like I've never seen a more complete package.
Yeah,
for a deck of cards, and yeah.
Really well, that was part of why I put it together that way. I wanted it to be like a one-stop shop.
Yep.
A healing tool kit that has everything a person needs to access their heart, open up their heart, heal what needs to be healed, or celebrate what needs to be celebrated around love and loving and grief and healing and all of that. And to have it all in one place just seemed to make so much sense to me. Yeah. And that's why I put it together that way.
Yeah. Well done. Well done.
Leslie, you can choose any number you wish. So long as you don't go over, you can still get a chance to win. And if 2 people choose the same number and it's close to that number or on that number, then we'll have a tiebreaker at the end of the show. But you have to be in here at the end of the show to collect the prize, per se.
And I want to get back to some of these pictures. You're gonna keep talking, Mom.
Hold on a second. Jojo says she's making mushroom and cilantro with broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, and onion soup. Okay.
Wow.
I was not hungry before, but I am now.
Yeah. That sounds amazing.
Wow. So explain to me what we're looking at in this picture. I know we got seaweed, but what are those rings in the center?
Yeah, so I'm really fortunate that I live on the west coast of Canada, and I live right down from the beach. I'm a block away from the beach. And this seaweed that you're seeing in that middle picture there is called bull kelp. And on the west coast, we have bull kelp forests, and they are literally a forest in the ocean. It's no different than a forest, up on the mountains. The bull kelp are the trees. There are animals and creatures that only live in the bull kelp forests, and they're a very important part of our marine ecosystem. And we also get big storms here along the coast. So I went down to the beach after a big storm, and there was this huge knot of these bull kelp. And bull kelp have a long, thin tube that comes from the bottom where their root structure is, where they're glommed onto the ocean floor. And this hollow tube comes up, and then at the very top, there's a bulb. And from the bulb, then these long, flat strands of thin seaweed come out. And that is what floats on the surface. And those strands move with the currents back and forth.
So it's protection of all the little fishies and the whatever's that's living.
That's right. Yeah. There's a particular crab that only lives on bull kelp, for example.
Wow.
So it's a really important part of our ecosystem here. And when we get these storms and we get these fresh bull kelps that have been pulled from the bottom of the ocean come up onto the beach, then we can harvest them. And all parts of it are edible and medicinal. So what you're seeing in the little circles is where I've cut the tube in thin slices, and then in behind and also on the picture next to it, those parts are the long strands that come off the top of the bull kelp. And that's the same with that little picture up on top. That's the same thing. It's the strands of the bull kelp above where that is. And then there's two of these beautiful beach shots. One is just down the road from where I live. This is the one down on the bottom on the left-hand side. And the one on the top on the right-hand side is from Main Island.
Oh,
It's
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, I used to go to Cape Cod all the time, and we used to, I used to camp out there with my late husband. And we had this big camper. And when you drive out on the beach, it was like a little peninsula that you were driving out. So you'd have the ocean side and the bay side. Right? So the bay side would have all mussels and like we could eel fish there, but it had mussels and steamers and things like that in there and quahogs, no scallops because it's a bay, but on the ocean side, then we're fishing, so we have striper and bluefish would come in, and then we all had a lot of seals because there was Monomoy Island near there. So there was a lot of seals. They used to shoot seals way back in the day to keep sharks away. And then they outlawed that. And now the sharks are there. So kind of destroying, the system. He's so cute.
Make a sign.
And hi.
And you're the man behind the curtain.
I love it. We need more signs. More signs.
Yeah. Walk past every so often with the new sign. We'll put you on camera. Okay.
Oh,
Here
fabulous.
is the tubes.
Oh, there.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And they're very thick and they're very flexible, but very hard to break. You have to cut through them with a sharp knife in order to.
So it's like the bamboo of the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. It's just really incredible. Cool. We call them mermaid puppets, my girls and I. When my girls were really little, they used to love finding the mermaid puppets because you've got the bulb on the top and then you've got these basically two pigtails that come out the top of the bulb. And these strands that we're seeing there come off of those pigtails. And so it looks like a little doll. And they used to play with them on the beach.
So I wonder if that's what people thought were mermaids, like
potentially, yeah.
Very possible.
Yeah. So the indigenous people here used to use the bulb to store uluchan oil, which is a type of fish oil. And they would put a plug. So they'd cut where the bulb is, turn it upside down, pour the fish oil in, and then plug it. And that would be their storage vessel for the fish oil.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to go to, instead of the sea, we're going to go more into the land here. Now what? The picture with you with the little hook there. You said that was a cedar branch.
That is, the cedar branch.
And they grow in weird shapes. I mean, that thing is amazing. I think that is the coolest picture. I was like, look at this. I love it. And I love the little walkway here out into the woods. And then I saw it. I asked you about the fiddleheads, and it's like, there's a whole bunch of ferns there. So fiddleheads are those little teeny tips of they curl up really tight. The tops of the ferns. Oh, put them, cook them in a pan with some butter. You'll be in heaven.
Yes. Yeah. Now the fern that you're seeing there, however, is not a fiddlehead fern.
Right.
There's lots of different kinds of ferns. Ferns have also their own medicine. The not the pollen, the spores of the fern have analgesic properties. So that means it helps with pain, especially with muscle pain. So if you're out in the forest and you wrench your shoulder or twist your ankle, and if you've got a fern nearby, like this kind of ostrich fern, if you take a frond and wrap it around, it will help with the swelling and the pain.
Oh, nice.
No kidding. Good to know.
First aid if you're in the forest.
I'm going to hope that if you haven't started already, that you're making a book with all these very important tips and tricks.
Well, there will be a blog on the Beyond the Garden Gate website where I will be sharing a lot of this, and who knows, eventually it might become a book. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be an awesome book, like a field guide. Yes. A field guide to nature, wilderness, and things that you can do medicinally and eat. Especially because people get stuck out in the woods all the time. I would be so lost. I would be dead. I'd be dead within a couple days. All right, but maybe not so much after this,
Right.
What is that other plant on the bottom?
That is stinging nettle.
So what does that do?
Well, so stinging nettle, if you've ever been out in the forest, especially in the springtime, and you've inadvertently walked through a stand of stinging nettle, you will never forget the experience because it will feel as if you have been swarmed by wasps and are being constantly stung.
Yep.
But in the medicine, and what's stinging you is formic acid. And so the stinging nettle leaves, they're very serrated. And at the end of each point of each leaf, there's a little teeny tiny spear that's full of formic acid. It's the same thing that ants have when they bite you. If you've ever had an ant bite, same chemical component, essentially.
Okay.
But if you can move past that, so if with gloves, I use gloves. Some people are immune to the sting and they don't get stung by it, but I do. I react quite badly to it. So with gloves on, I will harvest a whole bunch of stinging nettle in the early spring and let it dry. Once it dries, that formic acid dissipates. Now you can eat it. And it is wonderful as a spring tonic. It's a great liver tonic. It's full of selenium, calcium, really beautiful things for your body. People make it into soup. You can use it as a pasta sauce. You can make a pesto out of it. You can dry it and make a tea from it in homeopathic medicine.
Now,
Use
again,
it.
I would be that person that would never, if something bit me like that, right, and irritated me like that, I would not give it a second chance. I wouldn't go take it home. I wouldn't try, the gloves to here,
Can we talk about
from with
spiders
the really
again?
big long pruners and take it home and dry it. I would not be doing that.
Can we give an example of Gina and spiders?
Oh God.
Gina and spiders?
Yes.
Just to show you how, like, she doesn't give people, not people, but things a second chance. Gina doesn't like spiders. But at one time there was spiders that was one day, I think you had 5 or something one day.
Yeah.
And there was one that was on her bed or near her bed.
Yep.
She tried to vacuum it up and couldn't
It's
find
not a
it. So
nest.
she slept with the vacuum in her bed, plugged in, ready to go.
The hose. Yep. The hose was right here. It was like wrapped on my arm, so in case anything happened.
Okay, but why was grandmother spider showing up for you that day?
There were messages.
Thank
There
you.
were
Thank
messages.
you.
There was a reason for it.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what it was right now, but there was a very, very good reason for it. And then I apologize to all the spirit animals that I destroyed that day because it scared the jeebies out of me. I'm like, well, you know what? You can give me a message a different way. Right? Not with the 8 little legs.
Right.
Sorry, I had to bring that up.
No, that's great. But the thing is, Gina, once you understand the benefit of what something like stinging nettle can do for your overall health, once you learn that, you may be able to overlook the stinging part of the nettle for the benefit of what that plant can do for you.
That is true. That is true. I mean, but I would let someone else harvest it. But
I'll harvest it for you.
Thank you. What is the red in the
Those are arbutus berries. So the arbutus tree or the madrona tree is native to this part of the world, so the west coast of Canada and down a little ways into the US, and it's also native to parts of Spain. It's the most beautiful, sensual tree I've ever come across. Its bark is like skin. It's smooth. It's absolutely stunning. In fact, there are 2 cards in the Oracle card deck, in the Healing Hearts Oracle card deck, that are of the arbutus tree.
Cool.
And the arbutus grows in the most amazing, convoluted way. The bark twists, the whole branch twists. So it was never really a good harvesting tree for wood. So when the Europeans arrived here on the West Coast and just started chopping down all the forests, they left the arbutus because they couldn't do anything with it. It's such a hard wood.
Right
So
now, it's great because the people love to make the twisted wood, furniture and whatnot.
That's right. Yeah. But it does mean that we've got some very, very old, very ancient arbutus on the West Coast here because they didn't get cut down. And the berries are edible. It's also known as a strawberry tree. It's another name for it.
Oh, all right, strawberries. Quick question. In my backyard, in the grass, my weeds grass, more weeds than grass. A couple blades of grass, mostly weeds. But there are little things. They look like little tiny strawberries.
They are little tiny strawberries, most likely. They're little wild strawberries.
And you can eat those?
Yeah, absolutely you can. They're delicious. They're teeny, teeny, tiny.
Teeny, yeah.
Yeah, they're the original strawberry. From there, we have
strawberries in my yard.
Yeah, we've created the commercial strawberry and these massive, huge strawberries. But the original strawberry is this little tiny fruit, and you have to kind of part the grass to
Well,
find.
not so much in my yard because, really there's only a couple blades of grass, but there's a lot of them. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I'm like, I wonder if I could eat these, but I don't, because I've always been like, don't eat that,
Yeah, if you're not sure about something, don't eat it. Don't just don't. It's not worth it. But if you're
But if
curious
I
and
know
you
that
want to
there's
find out
strawberries and I
more,
can eat them, then I will pick a
Yeah.
bunch of them. I'll show you a picture, Mama, when I do.
Okay. I will show you a picture of my yard when all the little white flowers are up from the strawberries.
oh, from the strawberries, yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So
I hate mowing my lawn just because of that.
Did you plant the card?
Keep those strawberries there. So this is one of the arbutus cards.
Wow.
People love to carve in arbutus bark because it's so smooth, right? You can see how smooth it is. But what the arbutus will do is it will heal itself over the carving. It has this amazing capacity. So there's, there's a message in there for our own resilience, which is what both these cards are about.
And
One is
scars are beautiful. Our scars are beautiful.
One is love messages, the other is wounded heart healed. And it's the idea that even when we have scars, even when somebody has dug into us and left that scar, whether it's emotional or physical, that becomes part of our story. And in and of itself, it has a beauty to it that we don't need to be ashamed of. We can create a different relationship with those scars and those warts, and we can accept them as part of who we are and how we got to be where we are in this moment. And use that as part of that healing journey especially for our hearts, because our hearts can get carved pretty deeply.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, we have so many comments over here. Oh, geez. I've been on the part of my page that has all the pictures on it. And thank you everyone for commenting, and hello to everyone that just joined. And wow. There's a lot going on here.
I'm not sure if this
Still
is
grow with those scars. Yes. Yep. What is this? What's that? Oh, look at you. That's a good idea, Mama.
Yeah. So for those of us who have just joined, this beautiful deck that we're discussing that Megan created using her heart in more ways than one, we're giving away a free copy of the deck. And it's not even just a deck, it's a whole package. Okay, you have to choose a number between 1 and 50. I will keep track of all the numbers. At the end of the show, we will draw that. We will let you know what our winning number is. The two people, if there's more than one that has chosen the exact number, then there'll be a standoff. Showdown. Thank you. There will be a showdown. But somebody will win that deck tonight. Yeah. She's getting involved.
But
it's crazy.
The cards are amazing. They truly are. You don't need the book. They're very intuitive. Exactly. Child's heart. Okay, look at this. All right, there's a beautiful interpretation on the back. However, what do you feel when you see that? That is how you read an oracle card anyway. Exactly. What does that message mean to you?
And what I like about this deck is that it's just a plain deck. Okay, there's no fancy golding, bonding, whatever. And I always have I have issues with shuffling and separating things because I have issues with my hands. This deck, I have no problem shuffling them, and they're just freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about the messages, if I could just for a moment talk about the messages that are on the back of each of those cards. Every message in the heart's journey is a lived experience of mine.
Oh, well, it's just so funny because I just picked the passion one. Saying that. So, passion fire invokes images of night and days of passion, of the complete joy in your body and soul, united within the body and soul of another. All of your needs being exceeded, pushed to your limits, physical, breathing, challenge what you think is possible and passionate. Woo! Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Well, in that particular card, I was sitting in front of the fire at our cottage, and I looked up. I heard a spark or a log fall or whatever, and I looked up, and there was this log burning in that incredible shape. That's that heart. That's this passion's heart. This the fire. it's not doctored at all. That is what it looked
That's
like.
it.
In fact, none of the photographs are doctored in any way, shape, or form. They are exactly as I found them in the moment that I saw them
Yep.
and took that photograph, so that I would have that memory of the message that was coming to me with these hearts. And the whole reason these hearts showed up in the first place is because I said to the universe, as I was trying to navigate coming out of this 23-year marriage with 2 little children and a man who'd been my best friend for so long, and things were falling apart and the blinders were coming off, and I was seeing things I hadn't allowed myself to see in that marriage. I looked up at the universe and said, just give me a sign that when I see it, I will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm doing the best I can with what I know, in as much integrity as I can have. And the first thing I saw was a heart. And I thought, wow, universe, you've got a great sense of humor.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because ever since you come into my life about this deck, I did not get the deck before because I was in Massachusetts. But that heart that was on the fence outside my daughter's window, because we had a snowstorm and they were out snow blowing, and then it got a little bit warmer. Everything was melting except for this heart on the fence. And then it was still there when I left. It started to droop a little bit on one side, but still very much a heart. It was amazing. And then tonight I'm sitting at my desk. I have a lamp here, and I was showing my daughter, I was taking pictures of a couple of the cards that I pulled. Even the glare that was coming from the light was making a heart shape on the card itself. I was just like, oh my God, how.
Well, listen, I mean, how often do we give ourselves permission to heal our heart wounds?
True.
In our culture, especially, there are a lot of platitudes around our heart wounds and about having a broken heart and what it is like to come through a relationship, come out of a relationship, whether it's with a partner or a child or a parent. Every relationship is heart-based.
Yep.
And then each relationship shows up for a period of time in our lives, and we participate in that relationship until such time as the life force of that relationship is no longer required for either person. But we have such an emphasis in our culture on staying together and having that perfect relationship that a lot of people spend a long time in a relationship they probably should have left a long time ago, because there's that pressure and there's that expectation, and they haven't really asked the question, what does my heart need? What does my heart want? Or felt safe enough to do something about it if the answer that is returned to them is, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're so afraid of what happens if.
Stuck.
Yes, absolutely.
If I leave my spouse or my partner, if I stop talking to my family member who seems to be dissing me every moment that they get the chance, if I leave Gina and no longer do this show, there's different things that happen. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw.
Thank you. Dark heart. Oh, okay, fine. Gotcha. No problem.
I don't even have to pick the card. I just picked it in the book.
Mary Jane's going, hey.
Mary Jane can't leave either. She's part of our family now too. She pulls cards with us.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, but even in this book, your story is in here. Your heart.
My story is in there. And the reason that I did that, having worked with oracle cards as a therapeutic tool for many, many decades, what I felt isn't always present in other decks that I've worked with is the motivation for the artist to have created that deck in the first place.
Yeah.
There's always a story. We all have stories, right? Everything comes from a story. It comes from an experience. And as I started to put this all together and I started to create this, I kept hearing, I kept getting that nudge of, you have to include what it was like for you to come to the realization that your 23-year marriage was not what you thought it was.
Right.
And what it was like to be the person in that relationship to say, hang on, this isn't working anymore. And in fact, it's become really toxic and quite abusive. And the realization for me, as a confident, intelligent, strong woman, to realize that I had allowed myself to become to get into it, to be abused, to be in an abusive relationship. That realization was so powerful.
Right.
And when I said to the universe, I just need a sign.
Yeah.
What I was asking for was validation for the
Yeah, because
choices.
people are stronger than they think. Or they
Yeah.
allow themselves to believe it.
That's right. But it was the validation from the universe or my guides or whomever, who's ever around us, to say, it's okay. It's going to be okay. It's okay, because you're coming from your heart, and it's not going to be easy, but we'll guide you. We'll give you the guidance that you need. And we'll bring the people in that you need in that time. And to share that, to make that public was a huge vulnerability leap. And also, as a counselor and as a therapist and as a healer and as someone who holds other people's stories, the power of our story is so immense and so important when it resonates with someone else. When someone else reads it and says, oh my gosh, that's me. That's my story. Right? Because for part of it, I remember thinking, I'm the only person in the entire world who's ever gone through anything like this. Which is
Same thing. That's why AA works. Okay, AA, NA, GA, any of those AA. Okay, because you're sharing stories.
When we share that story and we can say, here's where I come from, here's what I mean when I say this, it opens up a conversation. It opens up the potential for a conversation. And over the years, the feedback that I've received from people who read that story before they started working with the cards, they tell me that they have a deeper relationship with the cards, because as they pull a card, they know that it isn't just platitudes. This is someone's lived experience.
Exactly.
And they can relate to that. And it creates a deeper healing.
Yeah.
It does. And that's 100% true.
And I always believe that we go through as much shit as we go through in our lives. We go through it, from my way of thinking, we go through it so we can help the next person along who realizes that we understand. It's not just, I know what you're feeling. I got that. But you actually do. So you're helping somebody, the next person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And who am I to keep my experiences to myself? If in sharing those experiences, someone can have an aha moment, right? And I don't say that from like a highfalutin place. I say that from a very humble place.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, these things, they're just so beautiful. Love letters. If your question is, will I find love? The answer is, love will find you.
Yep.
The harder you try, the harder you push love away. Be open to your knowing, saying yes to love's possibilities. This is amazing. And like, you can do this. Like, you guys, like we're saying, we're giving this deck away for free. All right, you don't have to get this deck to read people. Okay, you can get this deck for yourself. For it every day. Okay, there's a beautiful journal. Okay, that comes with it, and you can. And like I said, I already put in my first entry in this journal about the card that I pulled, because it was a mother's heart. And I'm going through a lot with my mom is going through right now. And in the journal, you can write no matter what. You don't even have to pull a card. There's some beautiful little sentiments on the bottom of every single page.
Yep.
Okay. And with the heart pictures faded in the background that are on the cards. It's absolutely, this package is put together so beautiful and so well. I'm just so impressed. I truly am.
Yeah.
So,
for all the decks that I have like 30, 40 decks, and a couple that have, connections like what I've been trying lately. But I have to be honest, this is the first deck, and the deck is not even enough. This package is, like I said before, it's like
get your own pen.
Like you said, one-stop shopping. You got the pen, you got the journal, you got the cards, you got the story, you've got the bookmarker. Everything goes together, and it's just like, it is so worth it.
Yeah. And it's pretty to keep out, because it's a pretty book. But you can pick a card a day and write what that card means to you if you want. So you don't have to be a card reader to want to win this deck. All right. And you can win this whole thing by picking a number between 1 and 50. Okay. Yep. And closest will get it. And if two people pick the exact number, then we'll have a showdown. We'll do like maybe 1 to 20 or something, and have you pick again when closest to the number without going over. Then they'll get that. We're gonna feel like come on down. What do you call it? Price is Right.
Yeah.
Karen says, you write in a journal. I have a journal next to my bed. Yes, I have a fox journal, believe it or not. But it's a nice, beautiful fox book that when I have a dream, like when I go to bed, if I need an answer, I'll say, okay, guys, come on, you got to tell me. And I will wake up in the middle of the night and have my answer. I can write it down so you don't forget it, because that's what happens. People will be like, oh, I won't forget that. Well, you do, so write it down. Journaling to me is amazing, very therapeutic, for everything that's going on in your life, and to get things out of here and put it on paper. Again, it lessens the anxiety, the craziness of the day, just even if it's a little note, get it out of here, get it on paper, less power. Right?
Yeah.
And when you can look at it, you can deal with it one thing at a time. You don't have to have the I gotta. It's like, well, you write it down. It's like, okay, so I gotta go to the store, and I gotta do laundry, and I gotta pick up the kid. I gotta do okay. So when it's written down, it's like, oh, all right, there it is. I just gotta do that.
And if you're like me and not much of a journal, as in writing it down, everybody has a recording device on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Put it next to your bed, wake up, speak it, and then let it go. And sometimes I'll, that's a good question. What's your favorite card?
My favorite card?
Yeah. Out of the deck, which is like the top one.
Today. Should say today.
Yeah.
Today.
That's
I work with my own card deck. Quite often. I'm going to find it here. I'm just flipping through some of the cards. In the book, I talk about Main Island. I talk about the family cottage, and you alluded to that in that beautiful introduction that you did. We no longer have that cottage. It was sold a couple of years ago, unfortunately, and not by us, by the family member who owned it. And so there's this, for me, this huge hole where that space was. I grew up there. Had been in the family for many generations.
Right.
And so the card that is the most important one to me, the one that is my favorite, is home is where the heart is.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking
I got heart chain. I was like, you gotta pick heart chain.
Well, the heart chain is also beautiful, but home is where the heart is a little brick heart that I found down on the beach. It's made out of it was eroded into a heart shape from a brick, and the brick is sitting on the windowsill of the house. Here it is.
Oh,
yeah. The cottage itself was built in the 1890s. It's one of the first buildings on the island from European settlers, and it's just a very magical place. And so many of these hearts are from the time that I was on Main Island. And what this card says is, you carry a piece of home with you wherever you go, spiritually and physically. If you're feeling lost in this moment, connect with your home, wherever and whatever it may be. Allow yourself to feel nurtured and supported. And in the guidebook, each card has its own page in which I go deeper into what those messages are. So you can take it into a deeper place. And when you posted this card the other night, it was very moving. Yeah, it was very moving for me. And I really connected with the message of that card, is that home is where your heart is. You are home.
Yep.
And so just like hear that and feel that. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter what's surrounding you. It's incredibly painful to lose a home. And there's lots of different ways that can happen for people, because we really identify with our home.
Yeah.
And our home is an expression of ourselves. We decorate it with the things that are important to us, like Gina with her foxes, or with my mushrooms, or my owls, or, it's a reflection of who we are. And so when we lose that, there's a huge grieving period around that. And so for me, the home is where the heart is card has taken a deeper meaning.
Mm.
in my own experience of
I
losing.
have lost a few homes, or sold a few homes, lost the homes, all of that. I've been here, I've been down here, you know what I mean? I've been rich.
And it's a very specific kind of loss. I've lost lots of people in my life, and over the last few years, I've lost a significant number of very important people in my life. But losing that place that I was so connected to and identified as, that's my space, that's who I am, that's my place. That has been a more significant and a much deeper loss because it's still there.
Right.
It's not mine anymore.
Right. But Mary Jane wants to know if you still have the brick.
I don't still have the brick.
Oh.
No.
I know. My last house, my house in Massachusetts before coming here, as a designer, it was kind of my showcase, so I put everything into it. It was like murals everywhere, and my kitchen was to die for. Everything was, my addition was actually the final project for my design school. Everything meant something, but it was my late husband, and now this is a new chapter and a new old house. It's an older house. Instead of downsizing, I went a little bigger.
And she got more people living in it.
Yeah, a lot of other people, a lot of otherworldly.
Mary Jane also asked, what was the first card to start?
First card to start was the one that you showed up earlier, which is the Healing Hearts card. It's card number 1. I'm just trying to find it here, but you brought it up on the screen.
Yep.
It's the flowers, or the leaves, rather. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a particular plant whose leaves are heart-shaped. And not only are they heart-shaped on the outside shape of the leaf, but if you look closely on the inside,
there's also heart shape.
Yeah, there's this heart shape. It's a type of oh, for goodness sakes, I can see the name, but I can't pull it up.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah. Anyway, it'll come to me at some point. Yeah.
The mushrooms.
Get in the mushroom car. You'll figure it out.
But it's a plant whose leaves come up in the spring and then die back, and then the flower comes up in the fall. Without the leaves.
Oh, no kidding.
And the whole message is about you're not meant to do this by yourself. It takes a community to heal a heart. And until I was starting to move out of and away from my marriage, I had been I still am, but I had been a very independent person in that I didn't need anybody else's help. I could do it all by myself. I was Wonder Woman. I was Super Mom. I could do it all. I didn't need anybody else's help. And when this started to unfold, I realized I don't have a roadmap for this. I don't know what to do with this. I don't know where to go with this. I need help. But I was terrified to reach out to friends or family because I didn't want to know.
You're the one that always does the help. You don't want to ask for help, right?
Yep.
I've been like that my whole life. My own businesses and everything else. And it's like, if I can't figure out how to do it, there's something. It
can't be done, but yeah.
Right. There's something wrong if I can't figure it out to do it myself, But Rich Rochlow, no, I am not in Mass anymore. I'm in Pennsylvania now.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I moved there in 7 years now? 6 years, 7 years? I still have my Mass accent. It's not going to go anywhere. I just try harder on the show to not show it as much. But when you're used to doing everything yourself, it really is. It's the hardest thing in the world to ask for help. And then it's really hard to not criticize when you get the help too. You know what I mean? Like, well, maybe I wouldn't have done it that way, or you know what I mean? And it's like, don't do that.
Yeah. One of the things that I learned when I did tentatively reach out to a few people in my life to say, there's this stuff going on in my relationship, and I don't know if it's okay that this is what's going on. The overwhelming support that I received from people, it blew me away. It just blew me away. And I would be generous to someone else who was needing help. And not only is it what I do for a living, but it's also just who I am.
Yep.
Of course.
I don't know why. But why didn't it occur to me that someone would do the same for me?
I
But
know.
I
No,
did.
but as the caregiver, you don't ask for care.
Yeah. But when I did, what was so beautiful is that I had so many people say to me, we've got you, we've got your back, we're here for you. We know this isn't easy, but we know that you're doing it the best you can, and we're here. We're here for you. You don't have to do this alone.
That's
So that's
beautiful.
what that card is all about. And that's why it's the very first card, because the first step in any healing journey is going outside of yourself
Yeah,
and
Doris is
asking
the same way too.
for help, asking
Yeah.
for support.
It is. It's that.
I think like Doris said, she
Get
does
out
the
of
same
here.
thing. Gina does it. I do it. Megan does it. We all do it because we're helpers. We want to help. That's what we do. And for me, I feel that sometimes if I ask for help, if I show that crack in the Mama D facade, in that
Oh, I
when
know,
everybody
I know.
thinks it's always perfect,
And
it's like
if there's a
then people won't
perfect
see me
person,
the same way. And I've learned to grow, to learn to understand that, like it's their issue, not mine. If they
Mhm.
don't see me the way I am just because I have a kink in my armor, there's a glitch in the matrix, then that's your issue, not mine. And it's
Yeah.
hard. It's very hard to do. I have to agree. But yeah,
Mhm.
more
Yeah.
power to.
Well, listen, if you ever want to like winnow the chaff, you want to see who really are the true friends,
Mm.
go ask them for help and see who shows up.
Oh God, yes,
that's true.
yes.
Yeah. Tell them, we're moving. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God, no. I'll
When
be
I
like,
moved this house, when I
the
moved this
next-
house,
oh,
what did I have?
oh,
Me and Bob,
yeah.
I had 6, 7 units down here in Pennsylvania, full, right? Packed, the biggest ones you could get. Ceiling to floor, full of shit. Who moved it all? Me and Bob.
Mm. Oh yeah.
No movers. Now I can't do it. Now I'm like, oh, and look at the stuff. I mean, just the books in this room alone. Holy cow.
I'd be like, the next time I move, I still got. I've been in this house for 10 years. I still have boxes downstairs in my basement. My daughter's helping me to go through because I'm rearranging my office, and she's helping to go through them. And I'm like, oh my God, I still got this because I don't like. I hate moving. I hate packing. I hate unpacking. I don't like it. So the next time I move is because I've won the lottery and I can just throw all this shit out and buy a whole bunch of new shit.
Oh my God. All right. But I got to reel us back in over here, guys. I got a lot more pictures I want to make sure we go through here.
Yes,
I
yes.
think I did this. Yes, I
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
Did I do this? I showed this, but we didn't
We
really
haven't done that one yet.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this because there's that beautiful heart picture in the center. I was like, look at that. And I
It's
love
a
this
mushroom.
this little this tree trunk that grew like this. This reminds me of Haunted Overload.
Isn't that amazing? So
That-
what you're looking at there, that tree trunk is a first growth tree. That means it was a tree that was here when Europeans first arrived and started cutting down the forests. These trees were massive. These trees were thousands of years old. The forest now, as we see it, is very different than the forest that greeted European settlers and that indigenous peoples had lived in for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And what you're looking at in that picture, those two eyes, that's where planks of wood were put into. So like a gouge was made in the wood, and then the plank of wood was put in on both sides, sometimes 4 sides, and men with huge saws would stand on either side and start by hand cutting that tree. It could take days for some of these trees to come down.
Wow.
And then the once the trees were down and pulled off of the land, then everything was burned. So the scrub was burned. And so what you see, which is that mouth, that maw, that's where fire was able to get in underneath the protective bark of that cedar and char out a hole in the center of it. But what's beautiful about this photo and why I included it is because if you can see out the top of that stump, there are other plants growing.
Yeah, it looks like it has hair.
It looks like it has hair. So we call those nursery logs or nursery stumps. There is nothing wasted in the forest.
No.
There's nothing
No,
wasted.
nature will take back. Nature will definitely take back eventually. There's no doubt.
And also nature will use what is at her like her resources will get used over and over and over again. And trees are very hard to destroy. I mean, yes, you can cut them down, you can burn them, but if a tree falls in the forest, and yes, it does make a sound, but when a tree falls in the forest, it can take a century or more for that tree to completely disintegrate into the ground. And as it's doing that, it's feeding other life forms.
Mhm.
You know, it's creating a community
Yeah.
in that. And so when I walk through the forest, and this is one of our local forests, when I walk through the forest, the new forest, and I see these huge old trunks, I have such a reverence for those trees. And I wonder, like, if I go and I put my hands on that trunk, I wonder, where did those planks go? Where did that wood go?
Right.
What house did it build? What country did it get sent to?
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
lot of our wood gets sent overseas and
Yeah.
got sent overseas at the time, because these amazing trees, these 2,000, 3,000-year-old trees, straight up, they
Yeah.
were, I mean, they made amazing planks,
Right.
and they were very, very desirable, and still are, the few forests that we're fighting to keep
Mhm.
that look like that. So,
Yeah.
100%. Hey, little tidbit. When you're walking through the woods, I found this out watching a movie. The guide was taking a bunch of people. It was a horror movie. But anyway, the guide was taking
No.
people through the woods. And they said, never step, like don't jump on a log and keep walking. All right. Really bad to do because you can break your foot. Yeah, so if you go through and you're still going forward, you can break your foot or your leg or something. So people go over
Or long
the
jumping.
okay. No stepping on the logs. All right. Just wanted to put that
Yeah.
little tidbit out there. So also now on this, the water picture, there's a couple little things sticking out. Was that Nessie's?
well, maybe. I mean, it is a lake, that the one with the fog on it, the mist on it, and the sun. That's a sunrise, and that's over a lake, a local lake here called Shawnigan Lake. And some people claim that they have seen things in that lake. Who knows?
Okay.
Maybe.
You never know.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful picture, and again, it speaks to the environment that I live in.
Yeah.
This lake is about a 20-minute, 30-minute drive from my home, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful location, beautiful spot. And
Great area.
I live in a beautiful part of the world. I do. And
Yeah.
I'm always grateful for that. The picture next to it, this sunset was so striking that the next day, the local newspaper, the whole front page was photographs that people had sent in of this particular sunset.
Wow.
And there's this beautiful, if you look, there's a couple standing by the benches looking out over the sunset. It's just, again, it's like an atmospheric, this is the environment that
I have a beautiful one like that on Nasa Beach. My daughter and her then fiance were on top of my camper, and it was the sunset time and all the pink skies. And I went up on the dunes and I was taking their picture. So it was a silhouette of them, you know, and her hair flowing in the breeze and everything, and them just like holding and kissing. And between underneath there, you know, when they're kissing, and here you make that heart shape, which is the origin of the heart.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
When you're kissing and you have this heart shape between the two, it's perfect. It's a perfect picture. I got to try to find that, and when I do, I'll send it to you, because I have it somewhere. But oh, what a gorgeous, gorgeous picture! But now you look at you, how at ease you are in your element.
Yeah. It's my favorite place, whether it's the beach or the forest. I mean, those are the places that I love to be the most. And this is a Western red cedar. The bark of a Western red cedar was used as clothing by the indigenous peoples here. They would pull strips of it off the tree. They would never cut the tree down, but they would pull strips of it off the tree, and then they would pummel it and turn it into a fiber, like linen, the same kind of thing, like flax turned into a fiber. They also would use the bark for everything. It was called the tree of life for them. So they would use it to make containers. They would use it for decoration. They would carve it, and they would make these amazing hats and clothing out of it, because it was so impermeable to the rain. And in this particular shot, we were tromping through the forest looking for mushrooms. This was just this past fall, and we were in a newer forest. So the area had been cleared about 30 years ago. And you can see in behind me these sort of thin little spindly trees. And then every once in a while, we'd come across this cluster of 3 or 4 trees that had been left that were first or second growth. So they were either 200, 300, 400 or 1,000 years old, or they were within the last 150 years. So second growth.
All the crooked trees wind up at Lowe's. That is true. That is true. Do not get your lumber at Lowe's. Get your lumber at Home Depot, but get your decorative stuff at Lowe's. There's a purpose for everything. That is very true. And then in the center there,
can I
is
just say
that a
something?
mushroom? Did you what?
Pardon me?
Just a quick note. Of all the people that have voted on the number, Bob has even chimed in a number.
Yep, I saw that.
That means he's paying
I
attention. He
don't
wants
think
to win it.
anybody's-
He's got to stick around to the end of the show.
Is that in the center? Is that a heart mushroom?
It's a mushroom that has grown in the shape of a heart. It's called a russula, a shrimp russula, as a matter of fact, because when it's picked at its prime and you cook it, it tastes like shrimp, fresh shrimp.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
if
tell
you
me.
get it a day, yeah, but if you get it a day too late, it'll taste like rotten shrimp. So you have to be really careful.
oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that grow in just certain areas?
It grows all over. It's a very prolific mushroom.
Okay.
We've got lots of them
Okay.
around. Yeah.
And now we have these.
Mm.
It's like, the first one there looks like a hunk of chocolate. I have no idea what
So the first one is a reishi mushroom.
Yeah.
Reishi is prized as a medicinal mushroom. And this is one that I found in the wild. It's the BC reishi mushroom. Beautiful, beautiful mushroom. It has this gorgeous, deep, chocolatey, burgundy skin on it. And then when you slice into it, and I think I did send you some pictures of the sliced mushrooms, but I don't know that they made it into the reel. It's this beautiful tan color on the inside. And it's absolutely gorgeous and very, very good for you, especially for immune support and as a neuroprotectant. So it's being studied in North America now. It's been used for thousands of years in other cultures, especially in Asian cultures, but it's being studied here for its neuroprotective properties. So what that means is that when it is consumed, similar to lion's mane, it helps protect the brain from inflammation, and it helps to protect it from oxidation and oxidative stress. So really, really good for things like Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's, any of those neuro damaging diseases that we have.
Awesome. And what are these petals in the center here?
Those are rose petals.
Oh, rose petals. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that there's a ton of things you can use rose petals for.
They are, yeah. Rose petals are amazing. I use them in teas. I make a rose petal oil infusion, and the smell of the rose petal, the rose smell comes through in that oil infusion. They're just so beautiful. And these are ones that I had picked, and I just loved the way that they fell together like that. And then down below is the rose hip. So this is wild rose hips. And from that, I make a rose hip face serum. And you can also dry them and put them into tea. Rose hip tea is made from rose hips. Very, very high in vitamin C, excellent antioxidant, great for mature skin. Beautiful, beautiful medicine in there. And then the other two, so the one up in the right-hand corner, that's a pine. That's a shore pine. And in the background is the ocean. So pine have very long, thin needles generally. And then in the lower picture on the table there, there's a pine, there's a balsam fir, including the young fir tips, which are very high in vitamin C, and then a cedar branch. So it's just looking at the different kinds of conifers that we can use for medicine, for nourishment, and to make us feel so incredible. Like conifer trees are incredibly grounding.
Yeah. Awesome. That's awesome. I guess more room pictures.
Yes. Aren't those beautiful?
They're gorgeous.
Two that look like cauliflower.
Yeah.
Well, they're called cauliflower mushrooms.
Ha! Well, they
yeah. Somebody wasn't terribly imaginative with that name.
I like when they're very easy things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So cauliflower mushroom grows here natively. And this is one that we found in the forest. They're also used a lot in Asian cuisine, and they're being used now in North America, have been for a long time in Asian cosmetics. So you can find it under the label snow mushroom. And it's the powder is being used, and infusions are being used in face creams and lotions and things like that. Again, for its regenerative properties. And this is also another mushroom like the lion's mane. They're related. That is neuroprotective.
Wow. And what's this bulbous looking one?
Yeah, so the bulbous looking one is one of the king of mushrooms. It's called the king bolete. And anyone of Italian descent should know about boletus, especially the king bolete, just saying. Very, very prized mushroom, culinarily amazing taste, just fabulous. It does have a lot of the same medicinal properties as many of these other mushrooms, but primarily it's used as a culinary mushroom. highly,
Beautiful.
highly prized. These ones I found in one of our forests, one of our local forests. And then in the upper corner, we've got pine mushrooms, also known as matsutake. And again, these are prized mushrooms, especially in Japanese cuisine. And a lot of our pine mushrooms, our matsutake, get bought up by the Japanese market.
Oh.
And the little brown ones behind it are winter chanterelles. One of my favorite.
Yep, that was from the one of the pictures way up the beginning.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we also see there they are again, the little chanterelles.
Yes, that's right. So in the center of that one, on the cutting board where the knife is, those are again more pine mushrooms and more of the winter chanterelles. Down below, there's one of the pictures of the reishi. So that's what a reishi looks like.
Cut.
The cut, right? So you can see it's white and it's got this tan.
Yeah.
And what I'm showing is basically what I do is I use a coffee grinder and I tear up the dried reishi after it's gone through the dryer, which you see in the other picture next to it. Put it in the coffee grinder, powder it up. And then from there, I'm doing two things with the reishi this year. I'm creating a reishi infused. It's a reishi snow mushroom and shiitake infused oil, which will go into face serums. And then also using it medicinally. So putting it into that morning coffee that I was talking about earlier with lots of other fabulous ingredients.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then that's my kitchen with so many racks.
How long does this last? Do you have to, I see you have things in canning jars. Are you actually doing like canning, sucking the air out, that type of stuff? Or freezer bags like the
Yeah. Well, so what you're seeing in the upper corner, those are calendula flowers. Now, I'll be honest, those aren't my calendula flowers. I do have calendula, but I don't have that much calendula. I bought that from a local supplier to make calendula salve and calendula oil, which is incredibly healing for the skin. It's excellent for cuts and bruises. It's wonderful just as a moisturizer. And the flowers are also edible. You can make tea with them. You can put them into your salads like your grandmother used to do. So what's shown in that picture is the dried calendula leaves and then the calendula in a mason jar covered with grapeseed oil, which I will then put into a double boiler and let it simmer and just let it heat up gently. And that will pull out some of the constituents in the calendula. And then it sits on a windowsill for a few weeks and the sun continues to pull out the medicine. The dried mushrooms will last indefinitely. And that's what the jar in the bottom picture is. Just put the lid on it and stick it in the cupboard.
Awesome.
And same with the ones that are being dried in that picture with the racks.
Awesome.
Really easy to
So
store.
not only is it nature, you're saving all kinds of money, and it's like once they're dried, they're indefinite. I mean, that's how win-win-win.
Absolutely.
But Joan wants to know how she can order the products. Is that those products that you're talking about? Is that through meganedge.ca or is that?
No, that's through Beyond the Garden Gate. Yes, beyondthegardengate.ca. You go into shop and you'll see the various products that are currently available through my Etsy store. You click on them and it will take you over to the Etsy store. And I'm constantly adding new products to the Etsy store. If there's something that we talked about tonight that you don't see on the Etsy store, it's just that I haven't yet put it up there, but you can email me and I can make sure that you get that product. You'll be the first. If it's not on the Etsy store yet, you'll be one of the first to get it.
Awesome. Fabulous.
Quick question. For all this face serums and the different creams and salves that you create, a lot of people, me included, who when we were younger, we sat in the sun and we didn't give a hoo-ha about, So for those who are having issues with skin cancers and stuff like that, is there anything specific that you had that would help with that?
Absolutely. In fact, there's many, many things that I have. I do have a seaweed salve made from the same seaweed that we were talking about earlier, the bladderwort. Excellent. Frankincense is one of your most powerful essential oils for skin cancers. And I have a face serum that's called Sacred Face Serum. And in it, there is frankincense, myrrh, and balsam fir. And it's an old recipe actually out of the Bible, believe it or not, that I found years ago. And that combination.
My neighbor was wearing that over the holidays. She said she just used the last of it not too long ago. And you know who loved that? My dog. Wanted to lick it off of her.
Yeah. Yeah, so frankincense is really wonderful. In fact, I work with essential oils. I'm an essential oil expert, and there are many, many essential oils that have anti-cancer, anti-tumoral properties that will not only help to heal the after effects of, say, cancer treatments, mainstream cancer treatments, and scarring and that sort of thing, but can also be preventative at the same time, or can be helpful while one is going through conventional therapies like radiation and chemo. There are essential oils that will help the body better tolerate those treatments, which means you're going to have a better result from those treatments. And then, especially with radiation, help the body release the radioactive
Bad stuff, the
components.
toxins, get the toxins out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, essential oils, I mean, we've always used them, you
Yeah.
know. Where do they come from? Nature.
They
Yeah.
come from the plants, and it's live medicine. That's what I love so much about working with essential oils. And I work primarily with Young Living essential oils. It's really important, if you're going to be using essential oils for medicinal purposes, for therapeutic purposes, that you have a source of those essential oils that are organically grown, that are produced without any kind of adjuncts. So no alcohols, no extenders. You want to make sure that the company is very reputable about how they make their products. Otherwise, you lose the therapeutic benefit of them. So if you're buying your essential oils from the grocery store or even your health food store, you're probably buying oils that have been compromised, and you're not, they might smell beautifully, but they're not going to have the medicine. If you just want them for the smell, go ahead. But personally, I want the purest oils that I can work with.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, before that, like when they first started coming out, everyone was like, doTERRA, you need doTERRA, you know. And it was like, oh, that's the top of the line. Now it's not so much anymore, you know.
There's anyway, I can't speak about doTERRA. I mean, I don't know much about doTERRA's, but what I have done, actually, talking about intuition, I've done this sort of the test of, okay, well, I'm going to hold doTERRA in one hand, or I'm going to hold, I can't think of any, Aurora, whatever it is, you know, whatever the company brand is, and I'm going to hold my Young Living oils, and I'm going to feel which one has the best benefit for me. I'm going to trust my intuition. I'm going to trust my own what do you call it? Pendulum. My own body as a pendulum, right? And the technique that I use for that is I'll put one in one hand and one in the other, and I'll close my eyes, and whichever hand rises, whether it physically rises or energetically rises, that's the one that's the best for me. Any one where my hand falls down, it's heavy, it's not the best. And you can do that with anything. You can do that with food, with supplements, with
you can do that with the test. You can do that, the test.
Yeah. Finger test as well.
But Leslie has two questions for you. One was, do you put that on your face when we were talking about the frankincense, myrrh, and things like that? She wanted to know about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And frankincense is one of the oils that it doesn't need to be diluted. It can be placed upon the skin directly without causing any kind of burning sensation or anything like that. But always do a skin test first, just to make sure, because everyone's skin is different. There are oils. You want to put it in a carrier oil before you want to have a high quality carrier oil. That way your oils are going to last longer, and they're going to be absorbed into the skin better, because basically an essential oil is a volatile oil. So that means once you put it on your skin, it evaporates very quickly. So to get the benefit of it, you want to mix it with carrier oils, then apply it.
And then we also want to know, what is the Etsy name of the store?
The Etsy name is Megan Edge Botanicals, all one word.
Okay.
And the sub name is Beyond the Garden Gate, but it's Megan Edge Botanicals.
Yeah. Okay. And Purification Works, wonderful for earaches.
Oh yeah, Purification is an amazing blend.
And Jane says she uses frankincense on her face all the time, and she's gorgeous.
Yes, she is.
What's a carrier oil, Jones?
Great question. A carrier oil is any vegetable-based oil, nut-based oil, or fruit-based oil that has been cold pressed, which then carries the essential oil into your body through your skin and into your bloodstream. So the carrier oils that I work most frequently with include grapeseed oil, coconut oil, fractionated or otherwise. MCT is another good coconut oil. Olive oil, pure virgin olive oil, not processed. You don't want it. You want it to be cold pressed. I also work with things like meadow foam oil. I make rosehip oils. There's lots of different ones that you can use. The ones to avoid, if what you want to do is use it topically, and I would argue if you're going to be cooking with it as well, are things like canola oil, sunflower oil, unless it's organic cold pressed sunflower oil. Like Crisco, don't put that on your face.
Not a good oil.
Not a good oil.
Yeah.
But avocado oil, again, if it's organically sourced, is a beautiful oil for your face. Almond is another one. Jojoba. If you do a Google search on what is a carrier oil, you're going to find some wonderful resources, and there's so many of them that are available to us. We're so fortunate that we have access to so much of these things.
Now, do you work with your clients or students or whatever you would want to call them? Like when you made those jars, I'm just trying to see the little pictures here. Is this the one? Yeah. When you made with the jars with all those plants and things that you found in them, do you also make these oils with them?
I do. I have a whole line of nature essences. There's 13, I believe, in the series, and it's what they're all different. They all actually, hang on just 1 second. I will grab.
Awesome. So while she's gone, again, we are giving away this deck, people, right? So it's the Heart's Journey book, the Heart's Journey journal, and the Oracle cards. Beautiful set. Beautiful cards. They're lovely. We are giving a set away. Okay. And what you're going to do is just pick a number from 1 to 50. Closest will get it. So look,
Nature essence sprays. So one of the courses that I teach or I have taught is called the Confident Healer, and it's a 12-month healers program, certification program that takes you into all of the different ways in which I work as a healer, training you to then become a mind, body, and soul healer. It's a very intensive course. And one of the things that my students get to learn how to do is to create these amazing nature sprays. The ones that I've created, there's so many, but just as an example, this is the little booklet that they get, and it teaches you how to make these essences. So one of them is called Acknowledgement, and it's called Acknowledgement of Self and Others. And it is, when you work with this essence spray, basically what it is it sets the intention for you to focus on whatever it is that you need to focus on. So whether it's communication or connection or releasing or acknowledgement, like this one is, you work with it. You like the manifesting spray, you spray it, you breathe it in, you've got the synergetic energies of the essential oils, as well as what the water has pulled out of the plant material that's been used in each of them, to set the intention, but also to benefit from the medicinal properties of the plant's energy that's come into the water, the plant's oils that have come into the water, and the essential oils. And I've created them in different categories. So there's ocean nature essences, there's forest nature essences, there's one for each season of the year. And we look at the energetic symbolism of the spring as about, for example, like it's reawakening, it's about emergence, it's coming out of, it's new energy. So when you work with the spring nature essence, you don't have to work with it in spring. You could work with it at the beginning of a new project or a new relationship. You just want to connect to that energy. I have a mother essence and a father essence. So Gina, you might be interested in working with the mother essence for what you're going through right now. And it's again, the energy of the plants. There's a crystal energy matrix in each one. And then the essential oils that help with those mother wounds or the mother healing, or the complexity of being a mother or having a mother. We all have one. We aren't all mothers, but we all have one. And similarly,
being a mother is definitely challenging as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. Let's see. We got more stuff here. Can you diffuse or put on the bottoms of your feet? All right. In young Young Living does make a supplement called Sleep Essence, but check for any potential interactions.
Yes.
She's talking about valerian.
Right.
She's talking about valerian, and there's a few other things in that sleep essence as well. I have it, in fact, and it's very potent. So for me personally, if I want to get up and get going the next morning, I'm probably not going to take that one before I go to bed.
Okay.
But if I want to sleep in the morning and just have this like luxurious morning, then I'm going to take that Young Living Sleep Essence for sure. And yes, you're right. There's lots of different ways that you can work with essential oils. Your belly button is a fabulous place to put essential oils immediately into your bloodstream. Bottom of your feet. Yeah, bottom of your feet, lots and lots of pores on the bottom of your feet. Excellent to get it into your bloodstream as fast as possible.
I'm barefoot all the time, so my feet are hard as rocks.
Okay, well,
Really
I have a salve. I have a salve for that.
I could use it.
Yeah.
I hate shoes on my feet. I hate shoes.
Okay, I was looking through your Etsy shop and your dill pickle lip balm.
Dill pickle lip balm.
I love dill pickles. They have to be baby dill pickles, but I can sit there and just eat them. Not cold. It has to be hot. So like you've got me really curious about this dill pickle. I might just be like,
well, yes, that's just it. It does. It tastes like dill pickles. And the thing about anything you put on your lips is going to end up in your body.
Yeah.
We can't help it, right? We're constantly doing that with our lips. So it's important to know what you're putting on your lips. And many cosmetics, lipsticks, and lip balms have pretty awful things in them, to be honest. For example, Burt's Bees. Burt's Bees, yeah.
Yep.
Burt's Bees used to be this wonderful company and then was bought by Colgate or was sold to Colgate. You may not know that, but that's what happened. Their lip balms now have ammonia in them.
Oh my God.
And you know what ammonia does? It dries out your lips. So what do you end up doing?
putting more
lip balm.
Well, I had a clean company for many years, right?
Yeah.
I used to mix, like, to clean glass, I always used ammonia and water, right? Like this much ammonia and the rest was water, But I would always constantly have the splits on my hands.
Yeah. It's
right?
very, very drying. Very drying.
Oh my God. But you go over a bottle of ammonia with a split on your hand, that split gets wider in a second and starts going whoomp, 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 whoomp. Like, yow, brutal stuff. Brutal stuff.
So,
I can't even imagine putting that on your lips unless you wanted to be one of those girls with the really plumpy lips. Okay. Because, oh my God, that would hurt so bad.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the reasons I started making my own products, my own skin products and my own bath products, so that I knew what was going in them.
Yeah.
Like, when I was in university, I read the woman who founded The Body Shop. I read her book and I was so impressed. I was so motivated by her and her whole reason for creating The Body Shop, which is unfortunately not what The Body Shop is any longer. But initially what she wanted to do back in the 70s in England was to create products that people could safely use, put on their skin. Your skin is your largest organ.
Yes.
Right? And anything you put on your skin goes straight into your body. It's not a closed system, right? It's a very absorbent system. And most of our cosmetics, most of our lotions, most of our shampoos, all the things that we use daily are full of toxic chemicals. They're full of endocrine disruptors, hormone disruptors. They're not good for us.
Right.
So if you trust, if you can make your own, by all means do. I mean, I highly encourage that. I teach people how to make their own products. But if you can get it from a trusted source where you know that the ingredients are sourced organically, they're sustainable, all the things that matter, when you then put those things on your skin, you're nourishing your whole body and your whole body will respond to that.
Right. We should be one with nature. I mean, we were born with nature. We weren't born in a house, you know what I mean? Like to be like this, you know what I mean? We're supposed to live off the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Or at least have a connection. At least have a connection to the land. So, Darlene, when you were talking about the dill pickle lip balm, like what is it and why is it? So, essential oil of dill, essential oil of caraway, both of them are excellent for your digestion. If you're going to eating your lip balm, it might as well be good for you.
I put anything on my lips, I'm always licking it off. Or
People always say, like, for indigestion, my mother used to eat mint candies. I can't. That gives me more indigestion. For me, if I have indigestion, I will go take the dill pickle jar and drink the dill pickle juice. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm good in 5 seconds.
Absolutely. And in fact, the juice of the pickle jar is what colic water is. That's what's given to babies when they're colicky.
Right.
I love pickle juice. My niece more so than me. She would live for that.
Yeah. Well, it's
Carmela
full,
said
it's
she
full
said
of
she needs
probiotics.
something. She
Yeah.
needs something for dry skin. Winter skin is
Oh
horrible.
God, winter kills the skin. Yes, agreed.
Yep, winter skin is horrible. So what's the best for like moisturizing your skin?
You know, as long as what is the base of the lotion or the salve that you're using is full of nourishing oils, it doesn't, well, it does matter what else is in there, obviously, but what I use as a base for my salves is beeswax, local beeswax, and then usually coconut oil and meadow foam oil or jojoba oil. Any of those really wonderful seed oils are going to be very nourishing, and they're going to go into your skin. Please avoid petroleum-based products. Petroleum sits on the surface of your skin.
So Vaseline.
Don't use Vaseline. No, it will just, it won't penetrate.
Yeah.
It might feel good in the moment, but it's not actually going to heal that dryness. So just something simple like coconut oil, organic coconut oil.
I have that. I use it on my hair. I use it on my body. It's like sitting in my tub. There you go.
Yeah. Castor oil. Castor oil is a wonderful oil. There's so many health benefits.
Well, you know, the old Italians, you know, like I watched my Big Fat Greek Wedding and with the Greeks with the Windex, right? The Italians, everything was cured by olive oil.
Yeah.
You have earache, you heat up the olive oil and put a couple drops in your ear, and it's going to cure it. You know, you get a toothache, put some olive oil on that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh my God, that and witch hazel.
Yeah, witch hazel is a great one. Well, one of the products that I have in my Etsy store is vanilla leaf salve. Vanilla leaf is a plant that grows here natively. It smells like vanilla when it dries. And the indigenous peoples used to harvest it, the leaves, and hang the bundles of leaves in their homes to ward off insects. Flies and things didn't like the smell of vanilla.
Wow. They don't like garlic either.
Neither do vampires, apparently, although I don't know.
Right. But they give you like a woman that I know in Florida, her house got infested by bugs, which is not unlikely for Florida. You know, they have to tent the houses and bomb them and everything. But the doctors actually gave her garlic to take, which was an exorbitant amount of garlic. So it would come out of her pores so that the bugs won't attack her.
Yes.
I'd be moving flamethrowers. No, I'll be out of there.
Yeah. Well, the vanilla leaf salve is really good for hands. It's one of the things that I sell it for. It has vanilla essential oil in it, which is incredible for your skin, very nourishing. And then it's got the beeswax and the coconut oil and the other nourishing oils in it, and the oil infusion with the not lavender, sorry, the vanilla leaf infused oil as part of it, and people love it. It's just beautiful for dry skin.
I love vanilla anything.
I swear to God, I'm going to go broke shopping in your.
Right? I know. I can't wait. I haven't looked yet. I'm dying to go.
I just did it quickly because I had to find the site with the link, and it's like.
So we have 10 minutes left, people, in order to win this deck, and it's a number 1 to 50.
Yeah.
And,
so far, we've got 12 guesses.
But, the number's been right here. It's been picked before the show. So Carmen says, my mom's friend used to put peppermint oil on her ankle.
Peppermint is amazing. It's what if somebody asked me what are the plants that I would have in my garden, medicinal plants that I would have in my garden, peppermint, absolutely. And there's so many different kinds of peppermint too. You can really have fun with it. I have a tea that I've created called Formintable, and it's four different mints blended together. There's orange mint and strawberry mint and ginger mint, I think, and then regular spearmint. Mint is fabulous for digestion, for fevers, for nausea, for immune support, for concentration. If you're going into a meeting that's going to be really dull, or you're studying for an exam, put a little bit of peppermint here. And again, you want it to be the purest, most therapeutic peppermint that you can get. Lavender, absolutely. Lavender plant, rosemary, sage, thyme, and then parsley. Those,
I love parsley.
so much you can do with those. And then there's so many more. I mean, oregano and you need, I have a whole medicinal garden in my backyard, and all these herbs are in there, and I use them every day because they're so good for us.
Good. I wish you lived in the States.
Well, hell, I wish she lives in Canada, but I wish she lived closer to me. But okay.
Yeah, Canada's a big country.
Well, now you're gonna be a consultant for the Fox Den, so we'll be knocking on your door all the time saying, "What about
What about
this?"
It's like, Megan, could you ship me this, please?
Oh yeah, there's some things. I mean, we've already talked about tonight. There's some things I want to actually talk to you more about for sure.
Yeah. So if you can hang around after the show, you don't mind for a couple of minutes. We're going to do that off air. But let me just bring this up, people. We have 10 minutes left to the end of the show. I would say give it another 5 minutes. If you do not have your guests in, please do it now, because I think at 5 minutes too, I'll check to see all the numbers, because I keep the idea of who's made a guess, but I haven't checked on the numbers. I just see a number and I pop it into our saved section. And we've had 12 guesses so far, so I don't know if anybody's got the number yet. But if you haven't made a guess on the
I saw one very close.
The option of winning this amazing deck. And I said deck is not even the word for it. This package.
Yeah, it's a package.
This amazing package. You're still at number. Okay, she made me look at the number. Damn it, woman. But if you haven't, just get your numbers in there. If I put you in there twice, because I'm not sure if I've caught you the first time, we're good. But don't change your number, because if it's in there the first time, and I'll be like, yeah.
Oh, is this one of your friends? Is it Allie G. Rudy?
Where do you live, Allie?
She's fortunate Megan lives close.
Oh, excellent.
All right.
Another Canadian?
Jojo says she forgot her number. Well,
that's okay. If it's you voted, you chose. It's in the starred section. Okay. Yeah. No, you can't change your mind.
Why not?
Because I said no.
Why?
Because I'm mean like that, don't you know? Oh, Allie lives in Victoria.
Oh. Do we know each other, Allie? I'd be embarrassed if I didn't remember you.
Oh, and look at this. I just shuffled it again, and look what card is right on the top.
Mother Heart. There you go.
This card is like, it's just perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect.
No, Mary Jane, if you want to change your guest, you're more than welcome to. But I always, and I'm not saying, if, like I said, I don't pay attention to whose numbers got what. If I always say go with your first gut guess, it's your call.
Yep. I'm the one that picked the number, so if you're going to try to pick a brain, it's mine.
Exactly. You want to go into her brain? God help you all, but go for it.
Good luck with that one.
There you
go. I wanted to share something. So somebody had asked about the brick heart, and did I still have the brick heart?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't. However, it does show up twice in the deck. It also is featured in twin hearts.
Oh, nice.
And this is a little table that we used to have out on our deck at the cottage. And the little heart had come up from the beach, and I had left it on the table. And then we went away for a few weeks. And when we came back, we'd had some rain. And I moved the little brick heart, and there was this beautiful shadow of where some of the brick had, come off of it with the rain.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And brick dust is very protective. If you guys didn't know that, if you get brick dust, if you're ripping down a building or a building's been ripped down, grab some of that brick dust, because you can use that to ward off evil spirits and keep things out. And when you're sealing a house, you can keep things out with that and everything.
Oh, if I put it in front of my front door before my husband gets back home, will that work?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Okay.
Don't invite him in.
It's too late. It's too late. Mary signed a contract. What can I say?
Uh,
Can
Mary
Shay play? Yes, Shay
Jane
can play.
She can
She
always
wants to
play.
choose a number. Yeah, yes. Shay is
Yes, she
Mary
can.
Jane's
She
daughter.
can. You have,
She
she
guesses
gets
10. All right. Up there.
Wow.
She has an amazing voice.
Yeah,
How old
she's
is Shay
really
now?
good.
Like, I don't know, but she's just, I feel old. That's all I got to say.
All right, what do we got? Okay, well, we have
So,
1
right.
minute
so we're 1 minute to the end
till I
of your
reveal.
guesses. So if y'all haven't got your guesses in, so to
1
the
minute
point, we've got 15, maybe 14, depending. I think
She's
I've got a
14
double one in there
until August.
until
Yeah,
August.
she's amazing. I
She's
told her she should go for
14.
American
Oh my
Idol.
God.
Just go for American Idol. Try it, because her voice is just, she's just, her kids are just so talented. Her son is so gifted. Like he's got this aura around him that I saw when he was really little. It's just, and I don't see auras on people.
Intense child.
But you do on this kid. He's amazing. It's just really
Well,
bright.
they're like she's building her a vocal booth.
Yes,
Oh, interesting.
She posted the pictures today. The thing looks amazing. It's almost
I've
done.
been working all day. I don't see nothing.
Oh, poor worker bee. My worker bee. Well, you have to check it out after the show.
I shall.
All right, it is 9:55.
Okay, so Gina, do you want to turn your number around and then I'll go into the.
I do. Hold on a second. So, all right, it's been sitting here and sitting here and sitting here.
Okay, so here's my question. Okay, so if nobody has hit the number on the nose, are they allowed to go over, or it's just the closest number?
It's the
to?
closest.
Okay, cool. All right, what's the number?
Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. Okay, it's been picked. I put it here. It's number 9.
11, 18.
I think
Shay won it.
So I was like, what?
Okay, you're not allowed to let your mother touch the dick. Shay got it at 10. Cool.
Shay got it. Thank you, everybody, for playing with us.
Yes.
It's just all nuts. Well, that's what
but you can go order your own deck.
If you know me, it's a very important number for me, okay? Yeah. Because I was born on January 9th. My first husband was born on January 9th. We were married on January 9th. My first daughter was born on July 9th. My second was born on October 9th. And we were divorced after 9 years. So 9999.
Wow.
A lot of nines.
My God.
Yep.
You know what is also number 9? Twin Hearts.
Oh, nice.
So speaking of 9s, there you go.
So that's amazing. She's smiling. Oh, fabulous. Yes. Oh,
okay, it was supposed to be the closest without going over, but since nobody hit it spot
on. No, that would be, and Monica says her birthday is July 9th. Well, then you share her birthday with my daughter. But
Mary Jane, I'll get your address. I think I might have it, but I'll get your address after the show.
Yeah. What you call it? The tiebreaker would have been not go over.
Mm-hmm.
1 to 50 was closest. There were a lot of high numbers. Everyone's putting in high numbers, and I'm like, I
was doing my best not to pay any attention to the numbers, and once I get focused, I do other things. I forget numbers. So I was like, oh my God. I didn't know, and to be honest, I didn't really know who was doing what. So
love you, Carmen.
Fun. First off, thank you very much, Megan. This has been awesome. Yeah. Awesome for the fact, not just for the show, but the idea that you gave us we each got your deck, and you allowed me to draw a card a night building up into this show, and you commented on them, and you are very accessible. So if anybody wants to reach out to you through Facebook, I think I put the links in everywhere.
All the social medias.
Yeah, she's not on TikTok yet. Yeah.
No,
I'm not going to get her there. Her daughter's going to get her there. She's going to be doing dances.
No, it's too much. It's too many. There's too many places for people to.
Oh, trust me, I've made a list of places
to monitor. You have to monitor all that stuff. I don't do
TikTok. It's a lot of work. Yeah. But you can find me on LinkedIn as well. So LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. We have a whole YouTube channel. There's lots and lots of videos, workshops, my own podcasts. I haven't been doing much for the last couple of years. A lot of it's that grieving process that I was sharing earlier. But there is tons of resources on our YouTube channel. So you can see me in action in workshops and teaching and sharing. A lot of the information that I shared today is also there. Ways to work in nature. Lots and lots to explore on the YouTube channel. And then on Facebook, of course, you can find me there as well.
Just
So
show you
stop that
just
chicker
quick.
going. And
Shay,
yeah,
the deck that she won is her second deck, and her very first deck. Sorry, hold on a second.
I was talking about it the other day.
Spirit of the Heart deck.
Mm.
Her very first deck,
Theme.
and now your
Theme.
Heart's Journey. Hello, yes, we do. So everybody, Shay, Megan, what would you like to leave us with?
I want to thank both of you so much for your energy, everything that you did to put this together. It was just so wonderful. I could feel your enthusiasm, and I could feel how important it was for you to really immerse yourself in it. I mean, as a guest on your show, I felt very seen, very heard, and very much a part of
You're a family now.
That you were doing. Yeah.
Everyone that's on the show, you're a Fox.
Whether she likes it or not, you're family now. We're the crazy aunties.
I'll take it. And then also just to remind everybody, your heart is an amazing organ. It's an amazing part of who you are, and it does a lot of work for you. It deserves to be healed. It deserves to be held as a sacred part of who you are. And the Healing Hearts Journey deck is one way to do that, but there are so many ways that you can open your heart and just walk through the world with an open heart and see what comes from that.
And see what else you can eat too.
Yep.
But I just love having you. I really, really did. Hang out for a few minutes here. We're going to want to note that to everybody else. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for playing along with our numbers game. Thank you for sticking with us. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please share the show and check Megan out on all of them, any way that you possibly can, and shop in the store.
Yes.
We'll see you.
And if you get dill pickle lip balm, let me know.
Thank you both very much. Thank you everyone for being here today.
Night,
all right, guys. See you next
Lisa
week.
Barnett is next week. We'll see you then. Ciao, ciao.
We thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, as well as our Anchor audio venues. We hope you enjoyed our show and our guest, and we would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, subscribe, and definitely hit that notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.